Hello and welcome to our new technical lectures. Today we will talk about two different solutions for condition monitoring. The first solution will be from Robert, who will tell you more about the portable monitoring system. If you have any questions during the talk of Robert, please feel free to write them in the chat. There is the possibility to use a bunch of captions for this presentation. So you will find a button in the right top corner of your, probably this side to the right side for you. So in the right top corner to activate the captions or the subtitles, hopefully in your language. So welcome, Robert, and good. Have a good time with your presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Stefan. Thank you for the warm welcome, and hello to you in front of screens. Today I tell you something about the portable monitoring. This is one of our condition monitoring systems that we want to present to you. So first the portable monitoring system, and second the condition monitoring system from Thomas Meissner, but I have the beginning here. So why basically do we talk about condition monitoring? And I think, and I hope this is clear for all of you out there, it's because of, we want to don't have unplanned downtimes at our machines, in our facility, in our production area. This is what we don't want to have. So basically, this means we need some system or some kind of maintenance system, condition monitoring system that helps us to see that an unplanned downtime is coming, to see that some maintenance is needed to not stop the full production line and have many costs because of that. Basically, how's this done today? Today, many of the maintenance colleagues that I talk to are doing this manually. Manually means they are going to write some information down, some measurement values that they put from like a motor or a machine or a pump. So they go there, do some manual measurements and put that on a sheet of paper, and then go to their laptop or to their personal computer and put that down in some kind of Excel sheets. And as I explained that, you know that this is very manually, this is high effort and also not very efficient. So we need to have some digital solutions to optimize our maintenance, to do some digital condition monitoring. But getting information of this is also then the next struggle that some persons in maintenance have. You have some sensors, you have some gateways, you have software, you have integrator companies that probably you need to set up all the system, and this is very complicated. This is time consuming, and also it's again costing lots of money. And the next point why condition monitoring is sometimes really painful in these days is many of you guys don't want to talk to your local IT departments. It's very complicated to set up a LAN cable, only a LAN cable within your production, or to switch some components to be active in the IT. So there are many reasons why people just don't do condition monitoring, and we thought we just make it easier. We just make it plug and play, and therefore we created the so-called portable monitoring system. And now the question is, what is it containing of? And we have only, and this is really a good thing here, only three main components. We have the sensor. This is the so-called Balluff condition monitoring sensor. And as you see, it's very small, it's very compact, and you have a sensor here which helps you to monitor different condition monitoring data. It monitors you 3-axis vibration. So you can get the vibration data as an RMS value, as a mean value, as a peak-to-peak value, for instance, and you can get it as acceleration and also as acceleration. Second thing is you can measure the temperature. So as I'm holding it here in my hand, the temperature of the sensor is recognized, and you later see it also in the software that we have. the third thing is you measure humidity. And the fourth thing is you measure the ambient pressure with that sensor. So basically, this is a really compact sensor that gives you all of the information you need in your production area to do condition monitoring, and all in one housing, on one piece. The second thing that we developed is our mobile gateway. And as you see it here, it's really compact. It's really, clean. You don't have any LAN adapters or any cables inside it, besides of the sensor here, and besides of the power supply, which is below the table. And therefore, and because of some other reasons that I will explain later on, we call it a mobile gateway. So really, you can take it and put it wherever you want and make your measurements. And that's for several reasons. And the first thing here that is really unique is that we get the data out of the gateway with a mobile data connection. So basically, we send data to or by 2G and LTE, which helps you to use it wherever you want. So wherever you have a phone signal, wherever your cell phone has a cellular signal, you can use our gateway and send out data with the mobile data connection. Again, 2G and LTE is applicable here. And also this works globally. We are not limited to any regions or something. The SIM card and also the connection unit that is inside here is working really globally. So in every region, we can use this gateway to send out the data. And the second thing why it's mobile is because we are having some built-in batteries here. That's rechargeable batteries, 2 pieces. It's lithium technology. And with that capability, we have the chance to use this whole thing without any power supply. And I can show that to you here. We have the power supply now connected. And also the BCM is lighted green, and it's still lighting green when I unplug the power supply. The lights of the gateway are switching off. That is for battery reasons. And now the sensor still is running. And now I'm able to use it really in my whole production area without having any restrictions with my LAN cable or with my power supply cable. This is working for up to 48 hours with one battery lifetime. So then after those 48 hours, you basically come back to your office probably, you stop the maintenance, you stop the condition monitoring with the portable monitoring system, you plug it again into your power supply unit, and you recharge it again. It's as easy as that. So now we want to, well, we see the components on the hardware side lying here on the table. And I want to show you a few things in the software that we also developed, especially for this portable monitoring system. And as we see that here on the screen, I switch to full screen mode. We see that you have a very clean and easy looking looking environment here. You have it's 8 systems that we want to observe here. So 8 times a gateway and a sensor. They are plugged in different stations. We have this thing here in Germany, Stuttgart, where we actually located the technical lecture. We have the final assembly in the manufacturing, plant A. We have the welding in plant B. And there are several other systems that we have all over our facility. And now let's have a deeper look into technical details here. And I first want to explain a few things about the software, and then we can make a little experiment here. There we can see some data just on the fly that are created by the sensor and sent over mobile data. By the way, you now see here, I don't have to install something or create any extra software on my laptop or load some exe files or something. That's because we are sending the data from the gateway directly into a cloud. It's a Microsoft Azure cloud, so we are building here on best practice technologies from the big supplier, basically. And all the software and all the data are stored in this cloud. And that helps you to not only have your data collected wherever you want, but you also can review the data wherever you want. So now, of course, I'm here with my laptop and have the data with the browser that I opened within the laptop, but also I could use my cell phone, go back home, and then review the data that I have in my facility, that I collect with a sensor in my facility. I can review them from my home office, or I can see the data from a different facility. So I'm the facility manager of the plant A, and I can review the plant B because of any reason. And that is also very unique, and this is by, this we are able to do because of we are running the data in the cloud. So now what do we have here? There are some basic features, of course. We can change the language from English to German to other languages. We have some profiles here that we can edit, so I can give myself a name and phone number and change my email address. I can change the password, or also I can go in the user management and create several users here. I can change the role between admin and user, or I can delete, of course, the users. I invite new users here, and then they are able to view the data that are collected with the several systems that I have in the field. Going back to the home here, I switch back to my device. Again, it's called Technical Lecture, but of course I could change the name here. It's very easy. I could say Technical Lecture, or I can say now this is the manufacturing area. And I save that. And now I know that the device is located in my manufacturing area. What I see here with this little badge is that the device is running. Again, I also see it because of the flashing light here on the BCM sensor. And there below that, I have a few settings. First of all, I can set the data transmission interval. So that means how often is the sensor sending data over the gateway into the cloud. And I can change between seconds and minutes and have an interval here, whatever fits me. I can, for instance, say I want to send data every 5 minutes because I only want to observe the temperature, and it really is okay for me if I have every 5 minutes the data of the temperature. Or I want to really have a close look at some data, at some vibration data, for instance, then I can set the level really into some seconds, and I frequently see some new data within the dashboard. So here I can change a little bit and optimize the data sending interval to my application that I want to observe. The second thing is that I can select between different profiles that I have. There's some predefined profiles like vibration velocity or vibration acceleration. Again, here as RMS values or as peak-to-peak values, or I can switch into the environmental profile. And when I switch to that, I can see the humidity, the temperature, and the ambient pressure values. So again, this depends on which application, which machine, which motor, which whatever you want to observe. You can select different values here and select different profiles. When I save that again, then I go down here, and within the last 15 minutes, I see now my data coming in. And as you see, there were some stronger vibrations. We made some tests before starting the technical lecture. And now the value of the RMS in X as well in Y and Z are quite low. They are quite stable. And now let's put the sensor here. There's a magnetic adapter mounted on the bottom of the sensor. We can, for instance, mount it on the motor here. Switch that motor on, and now it's running on very low turning rate on at 1,350 per minute, and I can now see there's one peak. That was the time where I put the sensor on the motor. And now when we go up with the motor here, then we instantly see some vibration data coming in. All right, I stopped that here to have some low noise. Also what we see is that the temperature was rising for the last few minutes. That was because the room here heated up, and we see that the temperature was rising here. And below, and less information, of course, because we run it on batteries now, is the battery level. And we see that it was around like 95% all the time, and then it gave a little, or it went down a little bit, and now it's on lower level, and it will now go down within the next hours, and then after a few hours, again like 48 hours on one battery load, we will see that the battery voltage is low, and then you need to recharge it. And of course now there is a possibility to, for instance, set some alarms, because I don't want to be all the time right next to the sensor or right next to the gateway and observe it, or I don't want to stare at the screen the whole time, but probably I just want to have an alarm that is sent by email to me whenever some certain amount of temperature or vibration was exceeded. So this I already prepared here. You see the contact temperature alert setting was already done. It's contact temperature above 25 degrees. We get an alert and the message is that the temperature was exceeded, and this is going to my email address here by email. I can change that now, or also I could easily delete it here with one click. Say, yes, I want to delete this alert. Now, in the contact temperature diagram, we don't see any alert lines anymore. And I can create a new rule. And this new rule, I can change between warning or alert. So warning means this is probably, a first step that I want to get slightly warning that something is not very okay. But then alert is the level where I really need to do something, where I need to go check my motor if there's any problems, and then really, do some maintenance. So I want to now create an alert for the contact temperature again. And I want to say when the contact temperature is above, let's say 30 degrees, then I want to again send an email to my email address. And I want to say this is an alert for the temperature. Very easy, just a few clicks. And then I say save here. And now the alert is shown in the diagram, of course. See here this line, it says alert above 30 degrees of temperature, Celsius of temperature. It's shown me here, of course, in the alert settings. And now when the alert or when the value is exceeded, a few things will happen. First, I get an email. So I can see also decentrally, I can see that there is the temperature exceeded, and I then can decide if I need to do something. Second is that I have in the activity log, I will get an entry here that the temperature was exceeded, and when temperature is below the maximum value, then again I will have a message here in the activity log. And a third thing is that on my dashboard view, so where I have all my devices, also I will get a colored information, and this tile then here, if the alert was exceeded, will get red. If I have only a warning, the tile will get yellow. So these are different information, different possibilities to set min-max values and to observe and to automate and to get the kind of the first step in doing some predictive maintenance. Okay, that's about the system. As you saw it, it's very easy. It's only 3 components. It's the sensor, it's the gateway, it's the software that I showed you. It's very fastly set up. It's just really plug and play. You plug in the sensor into the gateway, you use the power supply or probably don't use it. And you start the software, make your login, and then instantly you see your data. So that's very easy, that's very convenient, very fast, and that's all what we thought about in creating the system, to make it as easy as possible, and to really enter or to lower the step for starting with condition monitoring, because all of the complex systems out there really is probably the 3rd or the 4th or the 5th step. But we wanted to give you a chance to take the first step in making digital condition monitoring in your factory. And this is what we did, and this is why we created the portable monitoring system. So thank you for listening. Now I hope, Steffen, that probably some questions were coming in, and wanting to answer them.
Yeah, there's already a bunch of questions, Robert. So the first one is it possible to run the system in our own cloud?
But at the moment, no. It's really because of the system is set up that easy, and is really like encapsulated in that area that we developed it. So it's a Microsoft Azure cloud environment. Of course, if there are customers that want to have the data in their own cloud or in their different systems, there's an export functionality. I didn't show it yet, but it's just one click and you export the data that you just saw in the charts. We are working on having other cloud providers. We are also working on having interfaces to probably your own cloud provider system that you have as a customer. So if there's requests or ideas, then of course you can contact us, and probably there's a possibility to find an individual solution. But in standard at the moment, it's Microsoft Azure technologies.
Perfect, thank you. The second question that you asked was, is there a Wi-Fi version of the gateway?
Also, no, there's no Wi-Fi version. This would cause major impacts on the hardware itself. We decided to only go the way to offer the cellular version. And there's one main reason, because when you have the cellular version, as you saw it, I don't need to ask IT, or I don't need to have anybody ask. I just really have it as a plug and play retrofit system that I can use using my local Wi-Fi in my factory. This would cause major actions in the internal organization. I would need to log in somewhere and put the system into the local Wi-Fi. So we decided not to offer it, but only offer the cellular version.
So the next question was probably asked from the US. Does PIMSys have FCC and IC approval?
FCC and IC we already have with the CE version. So we have it certified with CE certification. This is in Europe standard, but already did it with FCC and IC networking certification. We are at the moment working in getting the UL certification done, which also then it's CUL US, which also then allows us to really officially sell it in the American regions or American countries. So it's in preparation. It will come in the next 2 to 3 months. So basically, it's prepared, and we are working on that.
The next question is from Europe. In the Netherlands, there are already a number of providers that intend to stop using 2G. How do you see this in future?
We also have that in Switzerland. if we would have that here in Germany, I'm honest that probably we would have major problems because LTE 4G is not very, if we come in more not city regions, then probably this would be a problem. I guess that especially in Netherlands, I guess that the 4G network is very powerful and very also broad, accessible. So I don't think that this would be a reason.
Is it possible to export the data?
Yeah, as I forgot to mention it in showing the software, but that's really one click. I can show it in the dashboard here. That's the data we have, and here you have your export button, and you just click it, and then the data are exported. In my case, the Excel is opening, hopefully. What is happening here? Yeah, but again, it's one click, and then there you go. It just took a few seconds, and then you can open your Excel spreadsheet or your MATLAB or wherever you want, or your Notepad, wherever you want to see the data, and use the data for further analysis.
Okay. Another question that was coming in is, how do you determine the correct position or the place for the sensor?
To be honest, this is something what you either probably already know because you know where the vibration is coming from. Is it coming from the head or from the bottom of the motor or wherever the location is? But if you don't know it, it's basically a little bit trial and error. But I guess that most of the experienced maintenance persons that really took manual measurements today, they know where the vibration is coming from and they know where to place the sensor at.
And there is another question about the alarm. Can you send that as an SMS?
SMS at the moment is not possible. We had many customer talks and evaluated that, and there weren't so many that requested that. So we decided to, at a first sight, implement the email function to send the alarm as an email. But we have it on roadmap, and as customers are requesting that, also this will be a feature that is coming in the future, is then supported by the software.
Another question, it's more about the philosophy. Why would you choose a portable principle and not a fixed one?
Because of you probably may have decentral assets. Now, if you have this motor here and you probably don't have a LAN connection, as we don't have one here at the moment, we would need to figure in some cables or something, or I have a customer that has a fan on the roof of his building to get out air out of the building, wasted air, and get in fresh air into the building. Nobody is wanting to make some maintenance on the top of the roof. So this is really some application where you want to have a portable monitoring system, for instance, put it in there, don't have to care for any cables, other cables, you put it there, you go away, and then you monitor it from wherever you want. So there's many applications I see where you want to have this portable way of monitoring data.
Okay. And the last question that came just in is, what happens if your machine is in a place where no network is available? Like if you showed it where you just placed it somewhere, will the data be stored on the device? And
No. This is really something where I must say, sorry, then the portable monitoring system would not help you with your application. If you have like a cooling room, for instance, you have big walls and no cellular signal will come in or come out, then really we have the restriction that the system is not working. But that's a perfect introduction of Thomas, who's coming next, because we also have a system, of course, for that. And this is based on local data stored on the gateway. We don't have that on the portable monitoring system, but there's other solutions for that in the Balluff company.
Okay, thank you. And one last question just came in. Is the PIM-SYS only good in manufacturing applications at this time, or is the construction industry also an option?
Construction industry could be an option. We have the limitation of the gateway to IP54 at the moment. So this probably could be a limitation, but it's shock resistant. It's proven on all those things. So depends on which exact application, but construction industry, I would not say it's not working there.
Okay, perfect. So,
right.
That's it from the questional side. So thanks a lot, Robert. And thank you all for listening, and thank you all for all the questions that you were asking. So that was Robert with the portable monitoring system. And the next technical lecture that we will just add right now is from Dr. Thomas Meissner, who will be talking about the Condition Monitoring Toolkit. And therefore, he's just preparing some last things, and then we will just start with our second show this afternoon. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat, and you can use the subtitles again if they are helpful for you. So welcome, Thomas, and good luck with your presentation.
Thank you, Stefan. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's my pleasure to be here today, and I'm very excited to present you the Condition Monitoring Toolkit. Now, this is one of our brand new products. I guess I don't have to talk about the motivation for condition monitoring now. Robert has already covered that before me, but I would like to pinpoint a few issues that are often encountered in condition monitoring. One big thing is, of course, that there are many, many different applications for condition monitoring, and an issue is that typically requirements vary from use case to use case and application to application. So for some examples may be sufficient to just monitor vibration, but in other use cases you may want to have other parameters as well, like pressure or rotary speed and so on. Or you may even have to monitor multiple critical components at once, and then that's something that cannot be easily done with many solutions. One issue is another issue is if you want to have a custom solution that is very specific to your application, there's typically not something around that suits every use case. And then there's a lot of integration effort required that makes it not really worthwhile doing condition monitoring. And this is something that we would like to address with the Condition Monitoring Toolkit, which I have here in hand. And it's we're trying to offer here a solution which ranges from sensors to the data aggregation and the visualization and data analysis. At the heart of the Condition Monitoring Toolkit is the base unit that I have here in my hand. So this is basically a combination of an IO-Link master and an edge gateway. The system itself is powered by 24 volts, so it has to be placed in a cabinet. You can connect up to 4 arbitrary IO-Link sensors to it, and then more notably, there are 2 LAN ports. So you can connect to the system directly either via LAN, or you can integrate it into your local IT network. In addition, if you just want to do data collection, you can also run it completely independent of a connection. Data will be stored on the device. The second component of the Condition Monitoring Toolkit is the software. This software runs directly on the device and makes it very easy for you to set up the system. So it just walks you through the steps, even for any arbitrary sensor, then to collect the data, to analyze the data, and even send alarms with thresholds that you set. To give you a brief introduction how it is, and I would like to show you the software, but before I go into detail there, I would like to talk a bit about our demo system here that we have, and just to show you how flexible it is. we set it up here. So here we have our motor that Robert already used, and we have different sensors connected to the motor. So for example, we have two BCMs for vibration measurements. So you can measure different components, different areas, maybe the bearing, maybe the shaft. That's what we use the BCMs for. Then I would also like to point out the inductive sensor. This is one of our new inductive thumb sensors, which also has a counting and rotary speed capability included. So this is used for measuring the rotary speed of the system. And lastly, to show you just how flexible the system is, I actually have an analog sensor here that is also incorporated into the system with an analog IO-link converter. All right, so now let's talk about the software. I would like to walk you through that. For that, and yeah, I will start with that. So the first thing that I said is that the software runs on the device, so there's no separate installation required, and the software itself is browser-based. So you can use Chrome or MS Edge or Firefox. I have the system directly connected to the laptop, and then I just have to access the system. So I just plug in the IP address of the system, and I'm then greeted with the login screen after a short moment. The login screen, so there's basically two users for the system. One is the admin user, administrator, who can change the settings. And then there's a regular user who can just view data and export data. So let me just briefly log in. So this is the first thing that you will be greeted when you set up the system. So you can start an initialization, and the system walks you through the steps required to set up everything. So we'll just start the initialization. And the first thing is that the system looks what kind of sensor is attached to the system. So now it's checking for the different ports, and here you can see that we have two BCMs. Those are for the vibration measurements. One BES, this is the inductive sensor, and then also the analog IO-link converter is attached. If you use there's a database on the device with all the Balluff IODD. So if you use a Balluff sensor, everything works out of box. If you have an unknown sensor, you will get a notification here. You will get a marking. There's a red indicator, and then you can upload the missing IODD to the device. And then everything works from here the same way. The next step is the setting of the database. So as mentioned before, data is stored directly on the device. You can change the logging interval from 50 milliseconds to 60 seconds, and the database will store the data on the device accordingly. So the minimum would be 6 weeks if you have a 50 milliseconds, and the maximum is for 250 weeks if you have record data every 60 seconds. So let me just let's do it every 100 milliseconds. So the next step is the system is also able to send alarms via email. So here you can plug in the mail settings, you can set up the SMTP, but that requires a connection to an appropriate SMTP server. I will just skip this step for the time being. So this is all you basically have to do for setting up the system for the first time. Now you end up in the global dashboard, which gives you status information, and from here you can adjust the different devices and so on. Yeah, but I just want to show you that you already are recording data, and that this is basically working out of the box. So as you can see here, this is kind of the overview or the visualization that is generated automatically based on the connected sensors. So what you can see here is we have a total of two BCMs. This is on port 1 and port 2. On port 3 we have the inductive sensor, and on port 4 is the analog temperature sensor. So let me just start running the system, that you can see that it will be something happening now. So now the system is recording data already, and now if I turn up the speed, you can see that, yeah, it's already recording vibrations and so on, the different parameters from the sensor. So this is very easy if you want to get started for the recording. This is something that you can do very, very fast with the system, but there's of course more that you can actually do with the system. So I would like to give you kind of an indication how to set up an alarm. Just imagine that you have vibration. You want to make sure that the vibration level is okay with your system. So to do that, you just have to edit. So this is getting more into technical details, a bit more sophisticated. Let me just click the edit button. So here you have a tab for alerts. And now we want to create an alert that monitors this vibration on the x-axis on the BCM connected to port 1. You can just add an alarm. Now you have to include a few settings. So for example, how often do you want it to be evaluated? So let's say we want to evaluate this condition every 5 seconds. Do you want to have like an initial blackout or blank that you don't want to include? Just imagine if you turn on a machine, it's often shaking a lot and you don't want to have an alarm going off every time it's turned on. So you can blank that out. So I will remove that. Then the next thing you have to include is the kind of condition. What do you want to evaluate? Is it the average, as is the case now? Or do you want to have the minimum, maximum value? You can change that from here, but I think the average is perfect for us. And then you just have to indicate for what time frame it is evaluating the data. So here it's, let's say 5 seconds. And lastly, it's the value that's going to trigger your alarm. So let's say 4 looks okay. So this is basically all you have to do. Now you just need to save. The alarm's already indicated graphically, and this is perfect. And now we have an alarm set here. The alarm is also shown up here. This will indicate the status. So now if I turn down the vibration and it falls below the indicator, you will see that it will go back to green. And yeah, you have that kind of indicator. All right, so let's save the settings and then we can go back to here. What you see here also is that the indicator here changed from blue to green. So this is that's why we call it the global dashboard. It will be possible to also add further devices here so that you can manage them from one global dashboard, and then you can see the indicator, the status of the system from here as well. So this will change according to the state. So if it's vibrating, I hope I'm hitting the, yeah, now you can see it's turning red, so there the alarm is critical. All right, so let's move on. So this showed you how easy it is to start the system, to set it up, and how to customize it and set up alarms. What else can you do with the system? Would like to walk you through those steps. So first of all, as you can see here, you can edit it. So this is very much what Robert showed. You can change the name and the location. You can even upload an image. So if you have a specific asset that you're monitoring, and to make it easier for you to identify it, you can upload the appropriate image if that is relevant for you. You can export data, so data is stored on the device, and you can just export it from different time frame that is of interest for you, and you can change the settings of the device that we initially set up. So let's walk you through here. So basically we have the different sensors included. So what is the possibility here? It indicates you the sensors attached. You can also change the parameters of the idling sensors. So for example, the BCM that is attached has many different parameterizations and gives you different parameters. You can change those. Some sensors are also able to give status informations, okay or not okay. Here you can select whether you want to store them. Also, then of course you can change the database settings according to your requirements, and you can also readjust mail setting if that is relevant for you. Yeah, this kind of set gives you what you can do in terms of the condition monitoring settings. Let's go back to the overview. What else can you do for the system? Here, of course, as an edge gateway, there are some settings that you can adjust here. For example, the network settings for the second LAN port. So this is the one that you would use for integrating the system into your local network. So here you can give it static or dynamic IP address according to the DHCP server. You can also, if time synchronization is very important for you, you can set an NTP server, so network time protocol server from your own base. That's also possible, and you can change the host name of the system. Next step is it's also very easy to update the system here. So we are constantly adding features to the system. So examples include we plan on implementing MQTT next and other functionalities. And here you can easily update the system to gain access to these additional features. So this is just upload and click, and then your system is updated. What else is to be mentioned? We have, basically different users, and this is also an important part. You have an indicator for notifications, so what happened to the system. So you would see status changes like alarms going off and on, so that you can backtrack issues with your machines. Yes, so this would actually bring me to the end of my presentation. So of course there's, I hope I convinced you of the CMTK. If you have any further question, of course, we will have some time for questions now, but if you have further questions, please feel free to contact me afterwards via email. I would like to point out that we also have a website, www.cmtk.de. There's also additional information available on this website. And that's it. Thank you very much for your attention.
Perfect. Thank you, Thomas. So let's have a look at the questions that were coming in. So the first one is it possible to connect sensors from competitors to the system?
Yes, the system is completely open in terms of sensors. So as long as it is an IO-Link sensor, IO-Link version 1.1, you can connect it to the system. You may have to upload the IODD to do so, to use it, but that's just one very simple step that you're walked through during initialization of the system.
Perfect, thank you. Another question is, can the data also be communicated to a higher level system?
Yes, as already indicated, well, currently not yet, but we're working very hard on implementing MQTT. So this would be the next step to communicate it to a higher level system. We're also probably going to implement other communication protocols like OPC UA, but that's a bit further down the road. That will be something that comes later.
Thank you. Ahmed was asking, can you change the IP address of the system?
Yes. What I would like to point out is currently there's 2 LAN ports, and in the current state, LAN port 1 is a fallback that you can always connect to with your laptop. So you cannot currently at least adjust this the IP settings, but for LAN port 2, it's completely freely configurable. Yeah.
And currently, the last question that I got is the backend of the monitoring tool available for additional programming and communication with Python, PHP, or JSON?
Well, from a technical point of view, we are actually running a Docker engine on the device, and we plan to open up this Docker engine so that it will be possible to deploy your own containers. So then you can, according to your requirements, you can put them on and customize your system more freely. And the container will be, for example, able to access the data stored in the database or to get data from via MQTT.
Perfect, thank you. So right now, that was the last question. Thank you for your questions. We have approximately 20 seconds to 30 seconds delay, so maybe there is still a question coming in. If yes, then Thomas will answer it in the chat for you. So thanks a lot, Thomas. Thank you again, Robert, and thanks to all of you for listening. And now we wish you a good rest of the day, and or have a good night, or wherever you're from. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, and let's tune in soon again for the next technical lecture.